All that shortly, but first to the latest coming in, news of a terror attack on security forces in Anantnag in India's Jammu and Kashmir. In the latest that's now trickling in, one CRPF soldier has been killed in that incident. The terror attack taking place in Anantnag in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's get in further details now from our correspondent Ishan Wani, who's joining us from Srinagar. Ishan, what more do we know at this point?
Well, police also have confirmed that one CRPF jawan has been killed in this particular attack. Apart from that, one militant who attacked these joint team of security forces, including Jammu Kashmir Police and CRPF, were present at this KP Road in Anantnag district of South Kashmir. When two masked gunmen appeared from that particular private vehicle, which fired upon these security forces personnel. There are reports of multiple injuries to the CRPF jawans, but the police also have confirmed that one CRPF jawan and one militant has been killed in this attack. This seems to be like a suicide attack. Now the police is also saying that they have repulsed this attack. There was an attempt to inflict more danger and harm to the security force personnel who were deployed at this particular position in South Kashmir. There was a heavy exchange of fire between the militants and the security forces. The area has been cordoned off. The security where what we also know is that a station police, Jammu Kashmir police officer has also sustained critical bullet injuries. He has been shifted to Srinagar hospital for treatment.
All right, so that's the latest. As Ishan is telling us, one CRPF soldier has been killed in that incident. The terror attack taking place on security forces in Jammu and Kashmir's Anantnag. We'll, of course, keep a close eye on the latest coming in and coming back to you, Ishan, as and when further updates come in on that front. Thanks very much for the moment. That will remain our continuing focus right here. But moving on for now to Hong Kong, which is witnessing massive protests against a bill that may allow for the extradition of suspects to mainland China and even be jailed there for life. This on a day when lawmakers were set to debate the controversial extradition bill in the city's legislature. But that debate then stood postponed as protesters occupied the roads around the government building in a bid to halt the bill. Hong Kong has not seen such protests in years. The Hong Kong legislature was empty as the demonstrators managed to block the politicians outside the legislature. The protesters put up barricades in front of the government offices as well. Hong Kong legislature is set to be dominated by Beijing loyalists. A final vote on the bill is expected to take place on the 20th of June. While initially the protests in Hong Kong were not violent, later the clashes erupted between the police personnel and the demonstrators. Police fired tear gas at protesters in several parts. The anti-government protesters also blocked two main highways in central Hong Kong. Many local businesses shut shops in a sign of solidarity with the protesters. They also joined the protests. Hong Kong's major student unions have also boycotted classes to attend the rallies. Meanwhile, a top Hong Kong official has warned that the protesters must disperse and not defy the law. Take a listen into this reaction.
政府咧，我哋係呼籲咧，係佔據馬路嘅市民咧，盡快咧係返回行人路，使到交通咧可以盡早恢復正常嘅。我亦都喺呢度呼籲咧，聚集嘅市民咧保持冷靜克制，盡早咧係和平散去咧，係唔好以身試法。
China has reiterated its firm support for the extradition bill. Chinese Foreign Affairs Ministry officials, when asked about the use of force against the protesters, said that any act against Hong Kong's prosperity is not supported by mainstream opinion in Hong Kong itself. Take a listen.
China's central government resolutely supports the Hong Kong SAR government in advancing the amendment to the two ordinances. What I can tell you is that any act that undermines Hong Kong's prosperity and stability is opposed by mainstream public opinion in Hong Kong. We have repeatedly stated that Hong Kong affairs are purely China's internal affairs. No other country, organization or individual has the right to interfere.
An estimated 1 million people protested against the law on Sunday. Protesters are of the view that the amendments to the extradition bill would erode autonomous Hong Kong's civil liberties. Under its one country, two systems framework, Hong Kong was guaranteed its own social, legal and political systems for 50 years after its handover from British rule in 1997. However, China's ruling Communist Party has been seen as failing to honor that agreement by forcing through unpopular legal changes. And earlier we spoke to our correspondent Patrick Falk from Beijing. Take a listen in to what he shared with us.
Well, it's interesting, just in the last couple of days, China seems to have gone very quiet on the issue. There hasn't been very much coverage of the topic at all in mainstream media, and there's also been a big clampdown on social media. People's WeChat and Weibo accounts have been shut down or suspended if there's been any chatter about what's happening in Hong Kong, and also if they've been circulating images of the protests from Sunday. As we know, these protests were really quite a remarkable scene, and so a lot of the images coming out of Sunday are going viral and being spread widely across the internet. And that is something that the Chinese government will have concerns about. They don't want these things to be inspiring people here to be coming out to protest. But the media reaction that we saw earlier in the week, accusing foreign forces of stirring up trouble in Hong Kong, is an indication that China certainly wants to see the bill pushed through, and that is an indication that it will go ahead. As you mentioned as well, the Legislative Council is stacked with pro-Beijing lawmakers, so that is possibly why the government is wanting to strike while the iron's hot and get it through while it can.